Bipul Kumar Shahi, the speaker of the today's session. Engineer Bipul Kumar Shahi, he did his BTech from Uttar Pradesh Technical University. He completed his MTech in Embedded System from UP Technical University. He is senior AI and blockchain consultant. He has experience in the field of IoT, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and Android app development. He has delivered workshops and trainings in more than 150 plus on technologies, namely embedded system, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, Android, and drones. He has also given the corporate training and faculty development program in the field of IoTs, blockchain, AI, data science, machine learning, and deep learning, and neural network, and so many. Now, with this short introduction about the Bipul Kumar Shahi, sir. Now, I humbly request Bipul Kumar Shahi to start the session. Welcome, sir.
Sure, sir. Thanks a lot. Okay, hi everyone. Very good afternoon to all of you. I hope all of you are well. Okay, so just give me one moment. Okay, so we can start our session with a kind of a little bit introduction of the agenda, like how we're going to proceed. What are the things that we'll learn, because everything should be in a flow, right? Everything should be in a flow. Like we should understand the thing that needs to be understood first. Those things should be covered first, and accordingly we should proceed, right? So let me share my screen with you first. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, that's better. I guess my screen is visible to all of you, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Better. Okay. So, things that we have to learn in this session, or how we will proceed, it is our machine learning and pattern recognition, right? ML and pattern recognition, right? So what are the things that will be required? Why it is
मैंने कैसा अभी ये 5 दिन चले गए ऊपर वाला 10:30 बजे का 5 दिन चलेगा मैं क्या करूंगा गुड मॉर्निंग वेलकम टू ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट एंड एवरीवन प्लीज स्टार्ट द सेशन प्लीज कंटिन्यू
okay? So we have to discover this ML. We have to understand what is ML and how, what are the things that are required to create ML programming and all. What are the requirements of ML developer? Okay, on what factor that we need to work upon to create ML based programming, and how can we make a machine learn? Right, that is what we have to understand. So nowadays it is very common term, isn't it? Right, like everyone is like, whosoever is in education domain or in IT domain must have heard about machine learning somehow. Okay, and everyone must have did like either I guess most of you must gone through little research with it. Okay, many of you might be knowing so many things about it. Okay, it is possible that many of you might be knowing so many things about it, and many of you are very new to it. Okay, that is also possible. Okay, like many of us are very new to it, right? So both things are there, right? Apart from that, but anyhow, the basic definition all of us must be knowing, that it is a process of making a machine learn. Okay, it is simple a process to make a machine learn. Okay, that is called machine learning. That means, and how a machine will learn? Machine will learn with the help of certain inputs. But what are those inputs? Those inputs are basically the datas and algorithms, isn't it? Those inputs are what? Those inputs are basically the data and algorithms. Means these are two factors that will help a machine to learn. Okay, the strong the data, the good the learning. Okay, the strong the data, the good the learning. That means if you are having a heavy sets of data, you are having a good set of data, the quality of data is good, the nature of data is good, the number of data is good. Okay, that means the machine will learn in a more prominent way. Okay, your algorithm, the logic that you are using, if it is good, that will also help a machine in much better way. Correct. And then we will see how we can combine these two things. Okay, because when we combine these two things, then what will happen? With the help of past data source, right? With the help of past data source, that whatever the data source you are having, whatever the data that you are having, with the help of past data that is present with you, Okay, with the help of past data, the machine will gain experience. What it will gain? It will gain experience. Okay, and with the help of experience, what it will do, with the help of past data, it will gain experience. And who will help him to gain experience? Algorithm will help a machine to gain experience. Okay, experience means what? Insights. Okay, insights, right? Insights means what? For example, I am speaking over here, right? I am delivering a session over machine learning, right? So it is not like that you are going to learn each line one by one. Okay, it is not possible for you that whatever that I am telling, and you are going to learn each line one by one, each line you just memorizes. It is not possible. What will you do? You will try to extract the information. Okay, not my not my kind of a speech over here. Okay, not my sentences. You are not trying to learn my sentences over here. What are you trying? You are trying to extract the information that I want to deliver. That is your prime agenda, isn't it? You have to just extract the information that I want to deliver, right? And using that information, what you will do, you will extract the insights of the information, and those insights, those information, you will capitalize in your own way to learn the concept, to understand the concept basically. Okay, like everyone is having a different ways to understand the concept, right? Like if I'm learning something, then I am having some my own nature of learning something. You are having your own nature of learning something. Same thing happened over here, right? Same thing happened for a machine. When you give a data to a machine along with the algorithm, okay, what it do, it extract the insights of that data. Insights means required information. Okay, not all the information, the required information, the information that is required by a machine. Okay, it extracts those required information from the data, and it uses those required information for further decision making processes, for further what, for further decision making processes, isn't it? It is what that is going to happen. That's why data is one of the most important factor that a machine requires. Okay, and if a machine required a data, that means the quality of data is the next most important thing that is affecting the whole thing. Okay, that means if you are a machine learning developer, okay, then you have to spend almost 70% of the time in just analyzing and pre-processing the data. Okay, pre-processing the data. Okay, 70% of the time will be here. Okay, and 30% remaining time will go with the algorithms or the machine learning algorithms, or like machine learning model preparation, ML model preparation. Okay, that means this will be the major part. That's why most of the cases we see the job role will be like data scientist. Okay, data scientist is most of the time we see the job role, that is data scientist. Okay, and there are machine learning developers are also there. Okay, there is a job role called machine learning developer. But if there are total 100 jobs, then you can see 70 jobs are like data scientists with a tagline of data scientist, and 30 will be with machine learning developer. That is the reason. Okay, so we should be better aware of dealing with the data. Okay, if we are aware of the dealing with the data, then this can be done in just no time. Like this can be done in kind of anyone can learn these things from anywhere. Okay, there are a lot many sources are there. Okay, but the experience required over here, you should have a very vast experience over here. Okay, because the data can be of any type. There is no single pattern of the data can be of any type. You can use your data for, suppose you are making a project for real estate. Okay, so data will be from real estate. Okay, then you are making a project on healthcare, so data can be of healthcare industry. And then someone is making a project on something else, like suppose someone is making a project on kind of a social media recommendation and all. Okay, social media thing. Okay, social media recommendation and all, right? So in this case, here also data will be there, here also data will be there, here also data will be there, but you can't apply the same approach in all these three. Okay, here the approach can be different, here the approach can be different, and here the approach can be different, isn't it? So that's why it is called, there is no single path if it is a data scientist job role. Okay, there is not a single path that you have to only follow this path, this path will always help you. There is always a multiple path. Okay, that means out of this multiple path, we have to choose the path that best suits our data, not all the data, which best suits our data. That is very important. Correct. And once we are able of figuring out like how we have to process the data, then we can do anything. Now question over here is why we need to process the data. Okay, we need to process the data because of many reasons. For example, suppose someone had given you a data, raw data. Okay, so in that raw data there are so many things. Okay, there can be strings, there can be numbers, objects, right? It can be anything. It can be float, it can be, there can be value in long. Okay, there can be a value in email address. Okay, there can be any value, can be there, any type of, any can be, like in a data value, suppose there is a table of data. Okay, in this table the information that is present, you can't restrict the type of information, isn't it? You can't restrict the type of information, it is not possible. Okay, the type can be of different, it will always be kind of, means dynamic. It can be any type, you can't restrict it. Okay, whatever, whosoever has given you the project, he will, you can't say him that no, I need only numeric value, you can't give me a string, I don't need a string value, I don't need any object. Like, you can't say him. Okay, he is giving you data with the any kind of values, right? So basically you should know how to treat these kind of different data type. That is the requirement of data pre-processing, because in your data there are different data types, these are dynamics. Okay, these are not static, right? So if we are not knowing it, that how to process it, then we can't proceed. Now the question is, why we need to process it? Because computer systems, machine, anything which is processing artificially, anything which is processing artificially can only take numeric value, because computers deals in only 0 and 1. Okay, can only take a numerical value. And here we are considering algorithms. Here what we are considering? We are considering algorithms. Algorithms are what? Are the mathematical formulas, mathematical rules, right? Mathematical laws. Okay. We are considering what? Mathematical formulas and laws. If we are considering a mathematical formulas and laws, obviously the mathematical inputs are required. Okay, there if I am writing Bipul, okay, and I am transmitting that Bipul to something like algorithm, algorithm will not consider this thing as anything like Bipul or something. For algorithm it is nothing. Okay, it needs to be pre-processed in a suitable numeric form. It can be anything, it can be 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever, but it needs to be pre-processed in a suitable numeric form. Then only algorithm can recognize it. Okay, so that's why pre-processing is required. Why required? The first thing, because data can be of different types. Okay, the types of data is not fixed, that's why pre-processing is required. That is the first reason. Next, what are the reason? Just a minute. Just give me 1 minute. Let me remove it. Okay, so that is the first reason. Second, data can have missing values, isn't it? Data can have missing values. Some values can be missing. Missing means what? Missing means not 0. That means just missing. Nothing present over there. There is nothing present over there. That is called missing value. Okay, like over here, if I am creating a data frame, okay, and I feel everything over here, everything is present over here, correct? And there is nothing over here. It is called missing value, correct? So if there is a missing value, then how algorithm can treat this missing value? No algorithm can treat it, right? No algorithm can treat it. Algorithm only needs a values. There should be value, right? So we have to treat this missing value. That is also important, correct? So in the raw data there can be a number of types of data types. A number of data types can be there, so we need a processing so that we can create a managed proper a data table with a single type of a data frame with all the data of single type. Missing value needs to be treated. That is also one requirement. Third, a special character. Okay, a special character. A data table can have a special characters. Okay, a data table can have a special characters. Correct. What kind of a special characters? Like dollar, rupees, okay, at the rate, dots, hyphen, slash. Okay, so there are so many things that can be present in a data table which are not good for algorithms. Algorithm can't understand what is this. You can understand it is a rupees, but for algorithm it is nothing. It can't understand. It will throw exception. Okay, either it should be a numerical value or it should not be there. Okay, either it should be a numerical value. Suppose somewhere it is written 2, 3, 7, 8, 5, and you have to calculate the mean. You can calculate the mean, but I will write over here rupees 2, rupees, sorry, I'm giving a wrong symbol for rupees. Okay, rupees 2, rupees 3, rupees 7, rupees 8, rupees 5. Okay, and then I'm asking you to calculate the average. You can calculate the average, but a machine can't calculate the average of it. Okay, you can calculate, okay, 2 plus 3 plus 7 plus 8 plus 5, because you are knowing, right? But if you give this information to a machine can't use any kind of process to calculate the average of it. So it should not be there for a machine. But the person who is giving you the data, he is not, he really don't know anything about data science. So obviously he is not knowing that he needs to give this symbol or not. He thought, I will give the symbol, then it looks good. Okay, he is not knowing that it will increase your pain, right? So that's why special character can be there. Okay, so we have to make a process so that these special character can be treated well, right? That's why that's why data science or data analysis or data pre-processing is required, right? So there can be n number of regions, right? There can be n number of regions. There can be outliers in the data. Okay, there can be outliers in the data, right? So to remove, to ignore, to treat those outliers, we need our data pre-processing. Okay, what are outliers basically? Let me tell you. Just take a condition. Outliers basically sometimes are the wrong value also. Okay, just take a condition like this: y coordinate, x coordinate, isn't it? And suppose over here you are having what? Over here you are having some value like what value can be there? Suppose this is advertisement cost for a company. Advertisement cost for a company, right? And these are your sales value, correct? And then these are the information that are distributed. Okay, like how the sales and advertisement costs are connected to each other. Okay, and there is a value over here. Okay, and there is a value over here, correct? Now if you are using this data, then you can easily recognize, if you have plotted it, by plotting only you can see that, okay, these are outliers because they are not in the usual form. Okay, these data are basically in a particular range. These are in usual form, these are basically in a particular range, right? But these are what? Outliers, right? Because here the advertisement cost is low and the sales value is very high. So either it is wrong or it happens just for because of some random reason. Okay, either this value is wrong or it happens just because of some random reason, but it is not in continuation. It happens for just one time. It also happens for just one time. Okay, but most of the time the data was remaining in this particular range, correct? These are the maximum occurrence. Okay, these are the majorities, right? These are the majority, these are the maximum occurrence for the data values, right? So these are the usual value, but these are what? These are the outliers, right? So remove these outliers. These outliers needs to be removed because these are very less in number, but their figure, the value is high. Okay, they are less in number but their values are high, so they may affect the they may affect the complete model. Okay, because whatever the model that is getting influenced by these one, okay, these one, okay, because of these, if model are getting a better figure, a better image, a better situation, but because of these values your model may get affected. Okay, because these are very less in number but they can affect a lot, correct? So these outliers needs to be treated well. These needs to be removed from the complete thing. Okay, complete thing that is present over here, isn't it? So data pre-processing will work to remove the outliers as well. Okay, outliers needs to be removed. Okay, so this is how it will work. Okay, next. Okay, so these are the things that are required. These are the requirements for a data pre-processing. But the thing, but the point over here is how can we do it? Okay, how can we do it? Look here. For doing it, as of now, most preferred language is Python. Okay, most preferred language is Python. Okay, that means you have to use Python for doing it. Okay, most preferred language, right? Now how to proceed? How can we code this Python and all? Look here, you must have used in the morning session and all. Okay, but still let me tell you, to code in Python, you can install the Python IDE in your system. This is an open source software. You can just search for Python IDE. I will show you. Just a minute. Okay, this Python IDE install it. If you search for it, you can download the Python IDE and you can start coding over here. Okay, you can download it from here and you can start coding. That is one of the way you are having. Other way that you can use this cloud platform called Colab that you must have used. Okay, if not, then let me tell you, it is an online cloud platform for coding Python. Okay, that means your system will not be used, your system will remain free. Okay, only this browser is using your system, but processing will not use your system. Processing will be done on the Google Cloud or the Google Space. Okay, or on the Google kind of a server. Processing will be done on the Google server, so your system will remain free. Correct? What you have to do, you have to just go over here. It is having option of everything, right? You can just use the GPU also over here. Okay, there is an option of GPU, TPU, tensor processing unit, GPU, graphical processing unit. Okay, these all things are there. If you want to use GPU, like if you like, suppose you are having a heavy use, you can go to edit, go to notebook settings, and set GPU. Okay, but if you are not having a that much bigger use, don't select it, otherwise your process may get slower. Okay, then file, and then you have to go to new notebook. Right, new notebook is what is the ID where usually we code. Okay, this is the place where we code. Correct, it will open up in a bit of moment. Okay, so just give me 1 minute. So this is a place where we code, isn't it? All the codings will be done over here. Correct. Now just a minute. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, fine. So what we need to do, if we are starting with a data science or anything, there are certain things we must know. Okay, what the first, the Python basics. Okay, I'm considering that you are knowing Python basics, right? If not, then you must have a little work. You must do little work with the Python basics. Little bit thing I will tell you, but that is not enough, right? Because if you're not knowing anything about Python, you must have to spend some time over it. Okay, the basics, small things definitely I will tell you, but that will not going to be enough if you're not knowing anything. Okay, second, the libraries for data science. Okay, libraries for data science. Okay, this is what required that we should know. What are the libraries for data science? Like, NumPy. Okay, numerical Python, that is very important, that we should know. Okay, what NumPy do? NumPy basically used in data science to deal with the numerical data in matrix form, to deal with numerical data in matrix form. What I mean that if a is equal to 5, this is a scalar. Okay, to deal with a scalar, you are not required any kind of libraries. Okay, you can directly use a scalar a is equal to 5 in Python, and you can use it. Okay, then b is equal to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is called vector. Correct, this is called vector, right? And vector can also be used in Python in a simple way. It is also known as list in Python. Okay, there is no additional library required. Like, there is no additional library required, but in data science we don't use it, and even we don't use this thing also. What we use the data like this, that is called a matrix. Okay, this is called matrix, isn't it? And to deal with this matrix, we need a library called NumPy. Correct, this is called matrix, that we need a library called NumPy. Okay, and at the later stage, at the more advanced stage, this matrix even gets more tensed. That means the matrix will get two-dimensional. Okay, that there will be matrix over the matrix. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, matrix over the matrix. Okay, that means it will be like this. We are discussing with like this. This is a matrix, right? And what is a three-dimensional matrix? That will be like this. Correct, this is a three-dimensional matrix. And so to deal with this, what we need TensorFlow. Okay, why TensorFlow? Because it is known as tensor. It is not a matrix now. It is known as tensor, and it is what, matrix. Okay, and in Python it will be called as NumPy array. What array? NumPy array. Okay, NumPy array. Okay, so to deal with this kind of matrices, we need a library called NumPy. Obviously, this is what we will use in our data science, because the data will be present in column and rows. Data are not present. Data will not be like this. Okay, it will not be in a single vector form. It will be in columns and rows. And if a data is in columns and node, we definitely need a library that can support it. Okay, so that's why NumPy is required. Second, what is required? Second that is required is pandas. Okay, pandas. Why pandas are required? Pandas are required to read the data. Okay, to read the data file. Okay, if you're having a data file, existing data file with the pandas, you can read it. Correct. If you want to read any data file for any kind of reprocessing, through pandas you can read it, isn't it? So that's why pandas are required. Okay, then the third thing that is very important is known as matplotlib. Matplotlib, why matplotlib? To plot, okay, to visualize. Okay, matplotlib or seaborn or plotly. Okay, plotly. Okay, these many things are required. Okay, so one of these, anyone you can use for what? For plotting. Okay, like this, any plot you can do, isn't it? So these many things are required that we have to use. Correct. So from where we should start? Shall we start with pandas or matplotlib? No, we will start with numpy. Okay, that is numerical Python. Correct. So how can we start? Let me tell you, and I will just explain like how numpy works very quickly. Okay, because today we will see this thing, tomorrow we will see the case studies. Okay, the case studies will start like classification based problem, regression based problem, and all those things. Okay, today we'll just see the things that are required for a programming, for data science, right? So okay, so if I'm explaining, if I'm writing like this, a is equal to 56 like this, right? What is this sound? Okay, a is equal to 56, right? Then how it will work? It is simple scalar. Okay, simple as scalar. This is how Python works. Print a, right? Print a plus 6. So it's simple. Anyone can do it, right? So while defining a variable in Python, it's very easy. You are not required to define int a, float a, this a, that a. Direct a. Okay, whatever variable you want to define, why it is not executing? Okay, whenever you are going to define any variable, you can define as it is without any prefix, suffix, nothing. Okay, just simple. No, you are not required to you are not required to terminate it. Okay, please don't use termination like this. Just simple, you can continue. Okay, so this is how the variable get defined in Python. You have to define the array, you have to define a list. You can define like this: b is equal to 6 comma 8 comma 4 comma 9. Oh, 2 comma, no 2 comma, single comma, 3 comma 2. Okay, it is what? It is just a list. In common term we call it vector. Okay, so it is just a list in Python. Okay, so you can see there is no library required to define it. Okay, here there is no library required to define a list, isn't it? And I need any value from this list. What I can do? I can use print b3. Okay, what I will get? I will get 3. Why 3 I am getting? Because the index of 3 is 3. Okay, if I'll pass 1 over here, it will be 8. Okay, simple mathematical concept. Okay, indexes, index 0, index 1, index 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then comes numpy. Okay, now we'll see why numpy comes. Okay, so to know about it, I will define two things, right? K1, this is a variable I am defining, right? K1 is equal to 6 comma 7 comma 4 comma 8. Correct. And what I want, I will define lists of lists. That means within this I will define one more thing. Okay, right? Better? Print K1. Okay, you can see how it looks like. Okay, these are simple lists of list in a particular these are 4 lists, and these 4 lists are basically sorry, 3 lists. Each list is having 4 elements, and there are these lists create one more list, right? So it is a list of list, you can say. Now define K2. K2 is equal to numpy I'm sorry, array. I will take a doubt session. Also, don't worry, I will give a time to ask your doubts. Whatever doubts you are having, definitely I will give a time. But first, let me reach to a particular point. Thereafter, I will give a time, particular window, so that we can discuss the doubts as well. Don't worry about it. Right. So please do note down your doubts somewhere, so that you should not miss it, any doubts. Okay, what is saying numpy is not defined? Why it is saying numpy is not defined? Because whenever you code and you miss anything, you do any kind of error, this is a location where we will get the exceptional message. This exceptional message will tell us, okay, that what error we did. correct? And then what we can do, we can correct those errors, right? So NumPy is not defined means what? This library is not called actually. How can we call library in Python? It's very simple. We can call the library in Python like import NumPy, right? So it will be called. So you can see the difference between K1 and in K2. Same value are defined in K1 and same value in K2, right? So basically, if we are not using NumPy library, the data will always be in single dimension. Okay, whatever the data that will be there, that will be always in single dimension. You can't use a multi-dimension things, right? But if the data we are picking from any, we are outsourcing, we are just capturing a data, we are just reading a data value from any source, okay, around this world, right? So those data are not going to be in single dimension. Those data will always be in two dimension. Okay. Excuse me. Those data will always be in two dimensions, right? So that's why we need what? NumPy to read the data values in multi-dimension, or to access or process the data in multi-dimension. To process the data in what? To process the data in multi-dimensional. We need what? We need NumPy. Correct? And that's how it is accessing a data in multi-dimensional, you can say. Okay. Now, if we have to read 6, the location of 6 will be what? K2, simple matrix rule. K2 0 0, it is 6. Okay. K2 0 0 is 6. Okay. K2 1 1 7. Okay. So this is how it will work. Correct. Apart from that, there are so many quick, you can say, things we get, like K2 dot sum for summing up the values. Okay. Okay. And lot many things we can do in just one shot, like lot many statistical thing, basically I should say. Okay. These statistical things we can do in just one line of code. Mean, sum, maximum, okay, minimum, standard deviations, okay, ARG max, ARG argument maximum, correct, argument minimum, better. So these all things can be done in just one shot. Okay. Summation, average, average is mean, maximum is maximum, minimum is minimum. Okay. Standard deviation, standard deviation is 1.97. That means most of the value will be around 1.97. Then we are having ARG max. ARG max is what? ARG max is argument maximum. Argument of maximum. What is the argument of maximum? The maximum value is what? You can see 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So at third position, we are having 8. So argument of maximum is what? Third. Correct. ARG mean argument of minimum. Okay. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. At 8th position, we are having 1. That is the argument of minimum. That's why it is 8. Okay. So these are the statistical things that we can do in one shot. Okay. To learn the NumPy, the best resource is the NumPy official document. NumPy official documentation. Okay. Anytime we can reach out to official documentation, and it is our official documentation that we are having. Correct. You can see all the things, the manuals and all those things are there. According to your version, you can just open this particular thing, 1.19 manual. Again, there is a quick start tutorial. Okay. And over here, it starts from the very basics. Basics, ND, number of dimensions. Okay. Shape, for getting the shape, size, data type, item size, data. So these all things we can try. Okay. For example, NDIM. What is NDIM? NDIM is number of dimensions, isn't it? So I'll show you. K2 dot NDIM. Okay. It will give the number of dimensions. It will be obviously 2 dimension, isn't it? Because there are rows and columns, both are present. Okay. Print K2 dot shape. Okay. Print K2 dot size. Okay. So this is how you can read the properties. Okay. Dimension is 2, 3 cross 4. Total number of data, total number of element is 14. So these are quick statistical thing that we can apply over here. Okay. And you can continue learning this thing from this particular document. Okay. And it is not required that today you just went and just start learning this thing. It is not required at all, right? according to your need, whenever things will come, you can just have a search. Okay, if anything that you want to do, you want to apply, but you are not getting what is going to be function, what function I should use, then you can directly search for it and you can get it. Okay, you can search for it and you can get it. For example, a.ravel. What is ravel over here? Ravel means what? It will convert your data into single dimension. That means if you are having a data K2, it is in 2 dimension. Okay, and you can use ravel, it will be converted into single dimension directly. Okay, so don't worry, like, please don't think like it is very difficult, there are so many things written over here, how can I read it? Okay, please don't think like that, because obviously it is so many things written over here, but most of the texts are there, right? Most of the thing is basically in the form of texts. Okay, and these texts, as compared to text, these are more important part for us. Okay, these are the important thing for us. Okay, not the text, right? So if you see this particular example size, always example size will be smaller. Okay, so easily you can practice these example sizes, not the complete text. It is not required to read each and every line of this particular document, right? And again, with the experience, these all things, most of the things you will understand on your own, right? So that's why I am telling you about this document, because obviously there's a lot many things are there, and all things we are not going to cover in this 2-hour session. So that's why from where you can learn after the session, that is important. Okay, from where you can learn after the session, after you understood it. Okay, so basically NumPy is something that will be used for multidimensional data, for processing multidimensional data and all. It looks like matrix. Obviously all the matrix thing you can do over here, like dot product, cross product, all those things can be done over here. Okay, that means if your data needs any processing, okay, what you need, then we need any kind of processing or any kind of operation, and that operation requires matrix operations. Okay, your data needs any kind of operation, arithmetic operation, right? And for example, let me tell you how we can do it, where it is basically required, right? Where it is required, right? So let me tell you. For example, just consider a case. Okay, just consider a simple case. If you are having 3x plus 2y is equal to 12. Okay, 5x plus 3y is equal to 15. How many unknowns are there? There are 2 unknowns. Correct. There are 2 unknowns and there are 2 equations. Okay, and anyone can calculate these x and y. Isn't it? Anyone can calculate this x and y, because there are 2 unknowns and 2 equations. It's very easy. Okay, but at the same time, if I will keep increasing the equation, suppose I have written over here 2x plus 7y is equal to 15, 3x plus 9y is equal to 17. Okay, 5x plus 3 3 I already used. 5x plus 5y is equal to 16. Okay, 7x plus 2y is equal to 22. Okay, I have written like this, and then after I am asking you for what? For kind of a to calculate this x and y value. Okay, so it is getting difficult right now, right? It is not like earlier, it is getting little difficult, right? So how can we use it? Obviously we will take the help of matrices. Okay, that means we'll do like this: 3 2 5 3 2 7 3 9 5 5 7 2. Okay, just a minute. Actually okay, written. It is what? It is a size of 3 cross 2. Sorry, not 3 cross 2. Sorry, it is a size of 6 cross 2. Okay, and then xy, it is what? 2 cross 1. Obviously dot product is possible, is equal to what? 12 15 15 17 16 22. Okay, now if you are proceeding using this particular way, okay, your job is little bit simple, is getting little bit simple, right? Now you can do the things more easily, right? So it is what? It is a matrix way, right? So that's why to operate over a huge set of data, so that a machine can learn, again I'm repeating, to operate over a huge set of data so that a machine can learn, okay, and after learning can generate some some values like this, these coefficients, can figure out some coefficients, okay, for the future value prediction. Okay, we need data to be stored in these kind of matrices, because operating on these kind of matrices will always be easier for a machine than operating directly on these kind of equations. Okay, so that's why matrices are important. Okay, that's why matrices are important in machine learning, right? So let's see how can we do the dot products and all. It's very simple to calculate dot product for this thing. It is just like a is equal to, suppose I have created an array numpy dot array better. So it is what? It is a your, right? So a is what? A is basically your 2 cross 4, isn't it? Now let me create B. Obviously, the next array should have at least 4 rows. Okay, at least 4 rows. Number of columns can be anything, but 4 rows is mandatory because it is 3 cross 4. So next should be at least 4 rows, isn't it? So numpy dot array. Okay, so it is what? 2 cross 4 and 4 cross 2. We got it, correct? And now we can do what? Numpy dot dot. Okay, A B. Just simple. Okay, it will calculate the dot product, right? This is how it will calculate the things. Okay, so lot many things that you can do with a numpy array, right? And the calculations gets much easier while we are using it. That means the process is very simple. Okay, through pandas, what we do, we read the data. Okay, then through numpy we operate over the data. Okay, and through matplotlib we plot the data to understand or to visualize. Plot, we plot the data or to visualize the data. That is called matplotlib, isn't it? So this is what we are going to do, right? So I hope the numpy thing, the basics of numpy you understood. Okay, and next, the more we will use numpy more with our some real-time example and case study. Okay, I know it is not complete numpy, right? But obviously complete numpy can't be like, you know. So what we will do, we will, once we are having understanding of numpy, that is enough. And then when we will work over some case studies, okay, we will take some examples, we'll create some machine learning models. Okay, in those cases we will explore this thing more. Okay, we will figure out something new thing, we'll figure out some new experience with the numpy. Okay, now next we have to discuss something that is known as pandas. Okay, the next important thing is known as what? Pandas. Okay, so let me tell you what is pandas actually. So pandas is a library of a Python, okay, to read data tables or file. Okay, to read data tables or file. Okay, now how can we read pandas? How can we come to know in detail of the pandas? Only with the help of pandas official document. Okay, these are this is pandas documentation. Okay, pandas documentation is here. Okay, getting started and all those things are there, correct? So just let us start with it. Okay, so it is saying to install and all, so we are not going to install anything. How do I read and write tabular data, right? Okay, so it is what saying how to read your tabular data, right? Just a minute. Okay, you can see over here there are certain functions. Okay, like if you have to read the Excel file, data is in Excel file, what you can do like this: pd.read Excel. Okay, pd is representing pandas actually. Okay, pd is representing what? Pandas. Okay, so pd.read Excel, and then the Excel file name, and then the sheet name. Okay, like in Excel file there are multiple sheets are there, correct? The same way, if we have to write into Excel file, that means data is prepared, but you have to write in the Excel file. This is what you can do, correct? So lot many things are there that is present over here. Let me show you how you can proceed. There is a data file that I am going to use. Just a minute. what I should do. Okay, so it is what? It is a data, right? It is a data. This data is present somewhere on the GitHub. Okay, this is a open source data. Anyone can read it, right? Okay, this is a open source data that anyone can read it, and you can see this is a data in the form of comma separated values. Okay, it is known as comma separated data, or you can say CSV data. Okay, what we can call this thing? We can call this thing as a CSV data. Right, now to read this data, what we need pandas. Okay, so what I will do, I will write over here import pandas, right? Import pandas. Okay, and then we have to read this particular file. Then how can we read it? We can read it like this: pandas dot read underscore CSV. If it is an Excel file, then read Excel. If it is a CSV file, read this thing, read CSV, correct? And then you have to give the location over here. What location I am giving? I have to give this location, right? It's very big, right? Let me give the sort location. bit.ly/try. Oh, I guess I'm doing some mistake. Anyway, there is no option. I have to give this complete location. I guess I'm giving some I'm doing some mistake in giving the sort location, right? So it read the value from that location in a table form. You can see. Okay, so this is called pandas data frame. What we call it? We call it pandas data frame. What we can do? We can store this value somewhere. Okay, so let me store this thing into df. Okay, so I have stored this thing into df, right? You can see over here. Okay, now df, if I call, I will get the whole data. Okay, I will get the whole data, right? And now what I can do, I can just take any particular column. If I have to take, what I can do, or I can use dot head. Okay, with the head I can read the top 5 values. Okay, this is my top 5 values. So by reading top 5 values, we can just understand how our data looks like. Okay, if we have to proceed, we can read the top 5 values and then we can proceed with it. Okay, so these are the top 5 values that we are having. You can see up to 5. Correct, so it is what head. Correct. Now what we can do next over here? Okay, there are a lot many things that we can do. Whenever you get a data, the very first thing that you should do, I will write the stepwise. Step 1, check the data types. Okay, this is what you should do at the very first step. Check the data type. Data types of what? Data types of each column. Correct. Data types of what? Data types of each column, like df.d types. What am I getting? I am getting this thing. Okay, it shows that passenger ID is integer 64-bit integer, survived column is having 64-bit integer data type. Okay, and PC class is having integer, name is having object, sex is having object, age is having float, sibling and spouse is having, like, that means what? Each particular column is having which type of data that we are getting over here. That is very important. The understanding of or the knowledge of data type is very important, because when we process, we should know on which type we are doing the processing. We are processing over text, we are processing over what, isn't it? So this is what that we do, that we should do first. Next, what we should do, the second step that we should do, we should check all the existing missing values. Okay, because if missing values are not knowing, we are not knowing about the missing values, then how can we proceed? Okay, so for checking the types, it is d types, that is data types. Okay, for checking the missing value, it is null. Okay, if I run is null, what I will get? I will get this part, true and false. What is this true false? Is null, that means null is there or it is not there. If it is null, it is true. It will be true. You can see at this point, it is true. Why it is true? Because it is a null point. You can see over here in the cabin section. It is written what? NaN. NaN doesn't mean that it is any string. It is a null. That means in actual data there is nothing present over there. Okay, it is a blank space. It is a void actually. Right? So that's why what are we getting? We are getting true. Why are we getting true? Because there is a null value over there. Okay. So if it is a null value, then what we can do? We can remove that null value. Actually, how can you remove a null value? Even it is, if suppose there is nothing at a point, then how can I remove something? There is nothing at that point, so obviously we can't only remove this particular value. Okay, it will be there. Okay, so to remove a null value, just a minute. To remove a null value, what we can do? We can fill some value over here. Okay, like Kevin, we are not doing, you can fill, like we just fill XYZ. Okay, so if I fill something over here, then this point is not no more a null value. Okay, this point is not going to be any more null value. This is what you can do. You can just fill a value over here. Correct. Or what we can do? We can remove this complete column. If I have to remove only, removal is the only option, then I can remove this complete column. Okay. Or what I can do? I can remove this complete row. Okay, I can remove this complete row, I can remove this complete column, or I can put some value over there. That is the only option that we are having, isn't it? So that is how we can treat a null value. But as of now, what are the locations where null values are present? How can I come to know? Look here. If it is true, it means 1. Okay, if it is true, it means what? It means 1. It means 1. It means 1. If it is false, it means 0. Correct? It means 0. That means what we can do, we can apply the sum function over there. If I apply a sum function over here, what will happen? 0, 0, 0 will be added up and it will return 0 only. Okay, and if the ones will be added up, it will return some real number. Okay, so it is what we are getting. In passenger ID, there is no null value present. Okay, so it gives us an idea like how to treat our data, how we have to treat the data. So with these two steps at the very beginning, we can come to know that what we have to do. Okay, the data type tell us, okay, the data type tell us that okay, the first 3 column is already an integer column. So obviously algorithm can use this thing, any algorithm can use this thing, but these are not the integer column. Okay, that means these are not the numerical column. If I want that my algorithm should use it, okay, if I don't want my algorithm should use, then there is no, like, who cares, you can just remove this. But anyhow, if I want that okay, name should be used by my algorithm, the sex column should be used by my algorithm, so in that case these objects needs to be transformed into the numerical term. How it will be transferred, that is different thing. Okay, but these anyhow, okay, whatever you can do, you have to do, but these things need to be transformed into a numerical column. Whatever you want, that you can apply, but this is the first requirement. First of all, requirements should be clear, then steps can be created, isn't it? So these needs to be converted. Ticket, this is also object. Cabin, embarked, okay, these all things can't be used by any algorithm. Okay, algorithm needs a numerical value, so this needs to be transformed. Correct. Next, is null dot sum. This is telling us, okay, when you run this step, it tells us that there are columns like the age column where 177 null values are there. That means out of total data, there are 177 points where the age information is not present, right? So if I want to use this data, okay, these points needs to be treated. We have to treat these points anyhow. Okay, we have to treat these points anyhow. Okay, cabin, there are 687 points where the cabin value is, the cabin information is unknown. If I want to use this cabin information, if I don't want to use it, then I will just delete the cabin column. But if I want to use this cabin column, I have to treat these 687 points. With these 687 points, null values, I can't proceed. Embarked, with the embarked, there are 2 points where null values are there. Okay, so these two analysis tells us at the very first that what is requirement. Okay, what is the requirement, right? Next, what you have to do? Let's proceed with the age part. Okay, let's proceed with the missing value part first. Understanding of the missing value analysis or treating. Okay, So what will you treat? The missing values. This is what we have to do. How can we treat the missing values? Isn't it? So we know where the missing values are present, right? We know where the missing values are present and we have to treat it, right? So first the missing values are present in age column. So what I will do, I will pick the age column. How can I pick any column? I can pick any column like this, age. Okay. I picked up this age column, correct? And this is our age column as of now, right? Okay. I will tell you the next part of it. We will have a little small break so that I can also have a glass of water and all. Okay. And can we have a 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes of break? Will it be fine? Yeah. I mean, audible. You can just tell me, like, will it be fine? Can we have a break? Like everyone wants it, or shall we continue?
Sir.
Okay. So just give me 5 to 10 minutes. I will be back. Just give me.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Okay. Stay connected. Hi everyone, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Shall we
Please.
proceed?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So, what I was telling you. Okay, I was telling you about how can we pick a particular column. So this is how you can pick a particular column, right? So as of now, I picked up age column. Why I picked up age column? Because there are certain null values. Okay, there are certain null values. That's why I picked up age column, right? So now is null. Okay, if I do it, what I'm getting this true and false. Okay, I'm getting this true and false. Now what? Just a minute, just give me 1 minute. Okay, now with this true or false, what I can do two things. Whenever you do any kind of analysis, okay, and you get true or false, you can do two things with this true and false. Okay, what are those two things? Total number of trues, right? Like how many true values are there? You can calculate this thing. Second, filter the data frame. Okay, that means you can filter the data frame. You can do a data analysis and you can filter this. Correct. That means you can just extract all the points where trues are there. Okay, all the points where there are true. Right, this is what you can do. Correct. So what we can do, let's see. Sorry, df. Okay, first of all, you can put over a sum. So with the sum, okay, these two things can be done, right? First, we did what? We figured out how many null values are there that are 177, and where are the null values? What are the points where null values are there? You can see these are the only null values. These are only those columns where null values are present. Okay, these are those columns where null values are present. Correct. So that's how we can figure out. Okay, if these are null values, that means we can treat this null value. Then how can we treat it? Okay, so for treating, there are certain ways that I told you. Okay, like either we can remove the complete column or complete row, or can fill some value. Okay, so we can fill some value over here, right? So what we can fill, obviously we can fill the average age. Okay, we can fill the average age, right? Now how can we fill the average age over here? Let's see. Df age. So this is our age. This is our mean. Correct. Mean age. Okay, so what I can do like this: df of age, okay, dot fill na, okay, dot fill na, what, 29.70. so wherever the null values are present in that age column, that will be replaced by 29.7. that means there will be no more null value existing. Okay, this is one thing. Second, one important thing that we should know whenever we are doing this kind of processings, okay, data pre-processing, one thing is very important. Okay, one thing is very important. What is that? It is like, if you are having male and female, you have to figure out, because that's why I said there is no particular way that you have to follow. We have to use our common sense. We have to see the thing. We have to see how data is there. Okay, so over here the data is basically present in two different ways. One is your male, one is female. Like this is categorized like this: male and female. Okay, the data is also categorized like the passenger class. Okay, passenger class 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so suppose what I want to do, I want to figure out all the null values where it is a male, and if it is a null value in case of male, I want to put only the average of male. Okay, average age of male over here. If it is a null value in case of female, I want to put the average age of female over here. Okay, If it is a passenger class, okay, so I want to put the null values of, if it is 1, okay, passenger class 1, okay, then all the average age of passenger class 1 needs to be filled over here, okay. All the average age of passenger class 2 will be filled in the null values in case it is a passenger class 2, okay. For 3, same thing, okay. So these things can also be done, okay. These things can also be done, and these things needs to be tried and test, okay. These things should be tried and test, like if I am doing this kind of things, okay, is the performance of my model is increasing or declining, okay. Suppose in a conventional way, when I applied and created a model, and my model is operating with a accuracy of 80%, and when I applied these steps, my model becomes 85% accurate, okay. That means these are the important facts that we were missing, right? So this should be taken care, okay. So how it can be used, let's see. First of all, df dot group by, okay. You have to use what? Group by, okay. Group by on the basis of what? That you have to mention over here, okay. Suppose I have to group by on the basis of gender, okay, which is a sex column over here, right? So you have to just pass sex. Let me check the spellings, like spellings, not the caps and all, okay. And then from here I have to take what? Age, okay, and then dot mean, okay. So I'm grouping on the basis of sex column, and then age is calculating. So average female age, okay, just take care, average female age is 27, okay, and average male age is what? 30, okay, and the total average is what? 29. So I replaced with 29, but I want, if the missing values in case of male, it will be replaced by 30. If the missing value is in case of female, it will be replaced by whom? 27 or 28, right? That is one thing that we can do. Second, df dot group by. Group by is very important function, okay. Passenger class, isn't it? I told you about the because these are the two categories, I guess. Passenger class and survived is also there, okay. Other things are also there. Suppose I have to work on the platform, or I have to predict the survival, okay. I have to predict the survival, then I can use survive as well, okay. Oh, what happened? Just a minute. Okay. Age. So average age of each class we will get dot mean. In place of mean, you can use sum. You can use something else also. So this is something that will affect more as compared to the sex column, okay, because in the sex column it is just very small difference, 28, 29, that is a very small difference. You can use 29 also, okay. In place of using 27.91 for female and 30 for male, you can use 29 also. Hardly it will affect. It will not affect the model too much, but in this case it will be affected a lot, okay, because you can see in the first class it is mostly 38. The average is 38. That means in the first class most of the older persons are there, okay. In the second class some middle age, and in the third class there are most young persons are there, okay. The Titanic, this is data of Titanic. So like in third class, most of the travelers, okay, most of the travelers are in a range of are young, okay. So if the missing values of age are from the third class, that should not be replaced by the 28 or 29, that should be replaced by 25, okay. And if missing values in the class 1, so that should not be replaced by 28 or 29, because there is a huge difference, isn't it? 29 and 29 and 38, okay. That can create a lot of effect, okay. The same way we can use for the survival. Let's see. Okay, survival also, it is not a big difference, almost same, okay, almost 28.3, very close. So we can use 29 also, it will not affect, okay. So out of 3 analysis, we decided that passenger class will be the thing that we are going to use for filling the missing value. Then how can we use it? Okay, so for that thing we have to separate the three data set. Okay, we have to filter out all the three data set, right? For example, DF, passenger class, okay, double equals 1. Compare it, true or false. If it is true, that means those are from passenger class 1. If it is false, means those are from passenger class 2. Okay, then DF. Better. So we extracted all the travelers who are traveling in passenger class 1. These are all the travelers who are traveling where? Who are traveling in passenger class 1. Correct. Now what we can do? We can do this thing. What we should do? We can figure out the null values. Is null dot sum. Oh, okay. In age column, there are 30 null values, and we have to replace this null value, right? So what we will do? Dot fill NA. Okay. Dot fill NA what? Not okay. Sorry, not dot direct fill NA. First, pick the age. So this is the age of all the travelers who are traveling in passenger class 1. All the travelers who are traveling in passenger class 1, and then fill NA with what? The age that we calculated. What was that? 38. Okay, what was that? That was 38, right? So 38.23. Much better. Correct. This is what we did. Okay, age dot fill NA. Right, this is what we filled the value. Right, now what we can do? So this is a age column, right? So we have to replace this age column with the actual thing. So what we will do over here? This is your actual data. Correct. Or one more thing that you can do. Okay. Okay, let me do it like this. It will be much better. Okay. First of all, do it like this. This is your data set, passenger class 1. Okay. So you can store this data value in P1 for passenger class 1. This is your data of passenger class 1 P1. Right. So P1 is this one. Right. And then what I can do, I can use P1 age. Okay. From P1. Better. And P1 age this one. And then what I can do, P1 age equals to assign to the actual column. Okay. P1 age equals. Correct. So it will be assigned. Correct. And once it will be assigned, if you call P1, there will be no null value now. Okay. In the age column, we will see no null value. Correct. Now is null. I will repeat it again. Don't worry. Dot sum. Nothing. There is no null value now. Right. So what we did in 3 steps. First, we separated the data. Okay. First, we separated the data. Second, what we did, we filled the age column with the new age column, which is filled up with a null value. And third, we had seen it. Okay. Again, repeat it for the second column. Okay. Suppose I have to pick the value from the passenger class 2. So P2 is equal to what? DF. Correct. DF PC class. Okay. Double equals 2. Right. So who is P2? P2 are all those persons who are traveling in passenger class 2. These are the persons who are traveling where? Who are traveling in passenger class 2. You can see, or at second class passengers, right? Now, what can be done? It can be like age column you can pick from here. Okay. And this age column can be replaced with who? With the age dot fill NA. Okay. Fill the null value and then replace the actual age column with this particular age column, right? So what will be the this particular thing? 29.87, right? Okay, done. Correct. So P1, P2, the same thing can be done for the P3. P3 means for the third, the passenger traveling in third class of the compartment, right? So that's why it is said while we fill the null values, it is not like that in a kind of a straight way, just travel and just directly use fill NA and it will work out. Okay, it may work out. I'm not saying it will not work out. It may work out, but that is just a luck. Okay, in many cases we have to do a lot of analysis before filling the null value. Okay, in many cases we have to do a lot of analysis, right? So it is what 25.14. Okay, we have to do a lot of analysis before filling up the null value 25.14. Okay, so it is done. Correct. So now we are having three data types, three data sets. Okay, P1, P2, and P3. Okay, P1 are those passengers who are traveling in passenger class 1. P2 are those passengers who are traveling in passenger class 2, and P3 are those passengers who are traveling in passenger class 3. Right. Now we have to combine these three columns. This is P2. Okay, so how can we combine? Okay, now it is a chance of now it is a now second thing that we do, we have to combine these three data columns. Okay, now how can we combine? For combining these things we have to use let me check if it is working or not. I'm not sure because so many functions are there. Pandas.append, okay, P1 comma P2 comma P3. No, it didn't work. I guess append function is not there. Pandas dot insert will also not work out. Okay, concat. Oh, just a minute. I have to check actually. I'm missing something. Concat function. Pandas dot concat, right? It is there. Okay, so it is saying what objects. Objects means what? The different things, different pandas data frame. Second is saying axis. Axis I am not giving over here. That is important, right? So I'll tell you what axis is. I will tell you what axis is actually. I have to just put it in the that will work. Okay, it worked. Correct. So you can see over here, it worked now. Okay, and total data columns have been added together. Okay, so axis I have not defined over here. Why? Because by default axis value is 0. Correct. By default axis value is 0, and when axis value will be 0, okay, there are two column, there are two pandas data frame that will be added, or three data frame that will be added one above another. When axis value is 0, it will stack. Okay, this is a P1, this is P2, and this is P3. When axis value is 0, when axis value is 1, then it will be like this. This will be P1, this will be P2, and this will be P3. Sorry. If I define over here axis value equal to 1, then this will be the situation. P1, P2, P3. Correct? But this is what I don't want. This is what I want as of now. Correct? That's why axis should be what? 0. And by default, the value of axis is already 0. If you define, well and good. If you don't define, it's fine. It will not. Okay. That's it. Correct? And then the next index, you can see after 1 it came 3, then 6, then 11. Why? Because we have separated P1, P2, and P3. In P1 it was 1, and after 1 it was 3. That's why 3 came. Correct. That means index are totally damaged over here. So we can use ignore index equal to true. Let's see. Much better now. Index rearrange themselves 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. Okay. So with the help of ignore index, we can decide, okay, index we are ignoring, and then it will append it together. Okay. So this is how we did with the DF. So what we did, let me explain again. We are having a DF. We figured out so many null values present. Okay, there are so many null values present. So we thought like we will start with the age. Okay, So we picked up the age column first. Okay, we figured out how many null values are there. 177. We separated the things in 3 different data frame. Okay, first was P1, all the persons who are traveling in passenger class 1. Second was P2 and third was P3. Okay, why? Because we figured out the average age of passenger class 1 to 3 is having a very huge difference as compared to others one. Okay, that's why any one can be considered. Okay, multiple references can't be considered, right? So that's why we choose PC class over other. Okay, and then the passenger class is used to separate the data and then fill the null value with the corresponding average value. Okay, with the corresponding average value of age. Okay, so in passenger class 1, all those persons are there who are traveling in passenger class 1, those average age is 38.23, so their null value are replaced with 38.23. In passenger class 2, the average age was 29.87, so they were replaced with 29.87. In passenger class 3, this was 25.14, so replaced with 25.14. And then we concatenated and we created a new data frame with the name df2. First was simple df, this is df2. Correct. So df2 is having what is a new data frame. This is having much more better condition dot sum, much better condition as compared to others. Okay, so we are having now these many things. Okay, now it's turn for Kevin. What we can do with the Kevin part? Correct. So in the Kevin there is a huge number of null values present, 687. Okay, and total data is what? Total data is it is just a minute. 1 minute. Okay, total data is what you can see over here, df2 dot save. Okay, this is my total data value 891. So 8 out of 891, 687 is the are the location of null value. That's a huge number. Okay, that is filling those null value will not be a good choice. Okay, so better we can remove that particular column, then we can decide that column is not going to help us anyhow. Okay, if anyhow we fill those column with some calculations and all, then also it is not sure that that will result into a healthy data. The data may be not that much healthy as compared to if I remove it, because there are so many null points are there. Okay, so for removing it we can use df2 dot drop. What I have to drop? I have to drop Kevin part, right? So Kevin, I execute it, I will get an exception. Okay, it is saying axis is not found. As I told you, we are dropping the row columns. Okay, so axis needs to be 1. If we drop a rows, as I told you, if we have to add the values like this, okay, in concat, okay, then what we do? Axis is 0. Okay, if I have to add the values like this, axis is 1. Same thing happened over here. If we have to remove these values, axis should be 0, and we have to remove these columns, axis should be what? 1, isn't it? So that means you have to define the axis, you have to declare the axis over here, axis is equal to 1. Okay, and what it will do, it will drop the Kevin part. Okay, now we are having a data frame in which there is no more Kevin existing. Okay, it is just after ticket it is fair and then embarked, isn't it? So what you can do, you want to Mr. Pradeepa, you want to annotate, you want to like indicate something, because annotate means you want to indicate something over the screen. Will I prove? Okay, I guess you were just trying that part. Anyway, df3 is equal to what? This one. Okay, so df3 is what? Df3 is something which is without Kevin. Okay, df3 is something which is without any Kevin. Okay, df3 is something which is without any what? Kevin, right? So it is what we got. Better. Now embarked part. In the embarked we are having only 2 points where null values are present. Okay, now we are having what? Just check it. Dot is null. Okay, now only 2 embarked columns are having rows are having this thing. Total number of data is what? 896, sorry, 891. if you remove what we did as of now, you can see df2 shape and df3 shape. If you check df3 shape, what you got? 11 number of columns. Okay, earlier it was 12 column, one column removed, it is 11. Okay, now there are 2 points where null values are present in case of df3. If anyhow I remove those 2 points, I will remove those 2 rows. If I remove those 2 rows, I will have how many rows? 891 minus 2, 889. Okay, that means my data health will not be affected too much. Health of data will not be affected too much by just removing 2 sample. Any sample size, if from any sample, if you remove just 2 sample, your data health will not be affected too much, isn't it? So what we can do, we can drop those things, drop those rows. Okay, and to drop those rows, what we can use simple. Now it is the most simple thing, df3 dot drop na. Okay, and we'll store this thing in df4. This will automatically remove those rows in which you can see df4 dot save, in which null values are there, 889, right? So for treating null values, all the things I had covered as of now. First, how can you fill? For filling, it is fill na. You have to pick the column, particular column in which you want to fill. If you don't pick the column, then it will fill everywhere. It will be filled everywhere. Okay. So pick the particular column in which you have to fill the null value, that is fill na. Better. And then you can use the drop function to drop a particular cabin. You can use a drop function to drop a particular column. Okay, any column you want to remove, just define that particular column that will be removed. Option 2. Option 3, you can use directly drop na to drop all those rows in which null values are there. Why I used at the last? Because if I had used over here, okay, then your 891 sample will be decreased down to around 150 sample, because around 650 or 70 null values are there in case of cabin. Okay, in case of cabin, there are a huge number of null values. Okay, so I don't want to lose huge amount of data. That's why I didn't use drop na over here. That's why I didn't use what? I didn't use drop na over here. Okay, so this is a complete thing. How what are the approaches that we should make while dealing with the missing values? Now df4 is much better data. There is no missing value in df4. Okay, it is a much better data. Now next, what we can do with df4? Let's see. df4 dot head. Okay, got it. Now what you have to do? Okay, so survived PC class, you know, if I have to separate all the survived part, I can separate. Okay, I have to separate all the survived and I want to see all the survived parts. So what I can do? df4 survived is equal to 1, right? You can easily figure out. Okay, so these are the survived persons. Okay, and then df4 okay. So this is what data filtering. I already told you about the data filtering. These are all survivals. PC class, this is also what you can do. You can separate the thing. Then come to the name part. With the name, we will understand how we can, how we can process a string. Correct. So for processing a string, what we need to do? Let's see. We are having a name over here. Name is equal to, suppose the name is like this, Shahi Bipul Kumar. It is my name, right? Now what I want to separate my surname from here. Okay, this is a string. Then how can I separate my surname from here? I can use name dot split. Correct. Name dot split, and I can use comma. Okay, and then I can use 0. As I use comma, on the basis of comma, it is splitted. Okay, and you're getting a list. In this list, this is the first entity. Okay, it is a first entity, it is a second entity. Okay, if I pass 0, I'll get the first name. Better? So it is how it is working. I hope you understood like how it is working, right? That means if I have to operate the same thing, I have to process the same thing over here in the name column, then what we can do? Okay, I have to figure out what we can do over here, right? So let's see what we can do. First of all, let me create a function. So to create a function in Python, it is a def. What? Def. Okay, def surname. Okay, and define something called argument called x. Correct, and then x dot split on the base of comma. Okay, and then 0. Pick the 0 and then use return. Done. So this is a simple function. Correct. Now surname. Okay, and any value if I will pass over here, suppose I am passing this thing. Okay, this is name of a person. I just copied it and I want to separate, for example, surname. Then I pass it over here. What it is returning? It is returning Cummings, the surname. Correct. So this is how function is operating. Right. Now I want this function should be applied everywhere. Right. So what I can do? I can use df4. df4 name dot apply. Okay, and then I can apply the function surname. Okay, I got all the surnames in one line. Much better. Correct. So it is how, if you are having a data frame, in that data frame there are so many values. Just keep in mind. Okay, if you are having a data frame and in that data frame there are so many values, you want to operate over those values, and for operating over those values you are creating your own function. Okay, according to your logic, according to your understanding, you are creating your own function. Now once you created your own function, then you want to know how can I apply that function in that data column. You can apply that function in data column with the help of just one inbuilt function that is known as apply. When you use apply and then the function name, automatically for this function these value will act as a parameter. Okay, and you know, when these arguments, when these parameters will be passed, it will be splitted. Okay, and after splitting, the first position will be extracted. So like it is splitted, and after splitting, this Cummings is extracted. Correct. Next thing, I extracted it, but I want to insert this thing into the data frame. Okay, then what I can do, if I extracted it and I want to insert it into data frame, because data frame is not having anything like this. For example, if I call df4, there is no column name surname, right? There is no column name surname. Is it there? It is not there, isn't it? I want to put it. So where I can put it? I want to put it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 after name. Okay, so that means I want to put after name, that means I want to put df4 dot insert. Okay, what it requires, the first it is asking the location. Okay, which location I want to put after name, that means location number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 4? Okay, let me give 4 location. Then column name it is asking, so let me give the column name as surname, isn't it? And then it is asking for the value, so obviously it is our value, right? So just pick this value and put it over here. Okay, let me give this after this particular thing. Before also you can give, that is just for creating a. Okay, execute it. Now you can see the things. So there is a column named surname. Okay, so location, the column name, and then the value. Okay, so with this column we are having the surname extracted. Much better, right? So it is how you can process over a string if there is a string, right? Now come to the part that is sex column. In the sex column it is gender mentioned with male and female. Okay, now if it is male and female mentioned, right, then these males and female are what? These are the categorical value. Okay, these are what? These are the categorical value. Categorical value means what? Male is one category, female is another category, right? All of us are knowing, right? Now what we have to do, we have to represent this thing with a numeric value. Then how can we represent it with a numeric value? That is important. Okay, every categorical value needs to be converted into numerical value. Again I am repeating, every categorical value needs to be converted into what? Into numerical value. That is very important, right? So how can we convert it, right? So for converting a categorical value into numerical value, there are two ways. First is called map and second is called get dummies. Okay, I will tell you both of them. Okay, there is a very small difference between it. How map works. Okay, it is like this: DA4, the sex column dot map. Okay, first of all, I have to figure out how many categories are there. So how can you figure out how many categories are there? By using value counts. Okay, value counts will always help you to figure out the number of categories. It is saying there are only two categories. Okay, male and female. Okay, male is 577 and female is 312. Okay, there were 577 male travelers and 312 female travelers. Much better. Now what we can do, we can just use this part. Okay, dot map y, and thereafter I can pass the value that I want to map within the curly braces. Okay, and why I did it, because if you do it, you will not do any spelling mistake. Otherwise it may possible you will do a spelling mistake. Okay, and it is also important, suppose in some category, suppose some category is represented by male but the M is capital. Okay, suppose there are some category represented by male but they had mentioned M as capital, then what will happen? Then there will be three category formed: male with a small m, female, and then the male with capital M. Okay, so that's why value count we have to use, because with value counts we can easily find out that the categorical values are has been given properly or not. If any problem is there, suppose the categorical value is not given in a well formatted way, then what we can do, we can replace those values according to our need. Like we can replace the male with capital M, okay, with all the male with a small m, right? So that is why value count is required, right? So male will be replaced, will be map with 0, female will be replaced with whom, will be 1. Okay, done. Then I told you how can we add this thing into the existing data frame. We can add this thing into existing data frame by using DA4 dot what, dot insert. Okay, dot insert location. What location? Last time I inserted at location 4, 5th, 6th I can give 6. Column name, gender. Okay, value, what will be the value? These are the value, right? That. Okay, then called DA4. Okay, you can see a gender column has been created with 1001 value. Right, so this is how this categorical value has been converted into numerical value. Okay, you must be thinking that how can we convert these names into numerical value, because the conversion of name into numerical value is not required. Why? Because names are not categorical, names are unique, and who will survive, suppose I have to make a model to predict who will survive and who will not survive. Okay, in that case name will not affect anyhow. Name is not an important entity, isn't it? Name is not an important entity in that case, because whatever my name is there, it hardly affects that I will survive or not survive. Okay, what can affect, like in which class I am traveling, that may affect. What is my age, that may affect. What is the gender, okay, that may affect. Okay, but what is my name, that will never affect. Okay, name will never affect. So that's why converting a name into numerical value is not required. Okay, gender, age, sibling and spouse, pass, ticket, that is not fair. Okay, last come to the embarked part. Okay, because on fair, if you want to calculate mean, average, maximum, minimum, all those things you can do. Last, it is embarked. Okay, let's come to the embarked part. So in the embarked part, how many categories we are having? It is showing the destination actually. Okay, like C for Christchurch, S for Southampton, and one more is there, Q, I guess, Queensland. Okay, so DF4 embarked, okay, dot value counts. Okay, so number of S 644, number of C 168, number of Q 77. Okay, next If it is there, now what I have to do, I have to map it. You know how to map it, right? S to 0, C to 1, Q to 2. That is one thing. Okay. Apart from that, we can also do one hot encoding. What is one hot encoding actually? One hot encoding is like converting the data values, okay, into binary form, okay, into a binary encoding, right? So that means df4 dot get dummies, sorry, df4 get, okay, get dummies, I'm just missing, just wait a minute. Get dummies function, how to give it, I'm just missing it. Get dummies, okay, okay, pandas dot get dummies I have to give, okay, pandas, the complete is, I have to give the pandas, right? So I can't give df4, I have to give pandas dot get dummies, okay. Then it is asking for the data is what, df4, okay. Then I have to prefix and all things, and then I have to give the column name, okay. So columns, okay, columns is equal to what is the column we are having? Embarked, right? So I can give over here embarked, okay, I will execute it. Oh, I missed this thing again. Better, okay. So I passed embarked, okay. I didn't use mapping I told you earlier, that's why I use this thing. So you can see it is called one hot encoding, right? So it converts the single column is basically converted into 3 column, okay, 1, 2 and 3, okay. And you can see the first person is going to see that is Christchurch, so it is 1, okay, and it is 1. The second person is related to Southampton, so this is 1, okay. So this is how each value is basically converted into what, 0 and 1, okay. So if you want to use mapping, you can use one, you can define the things in 1 2 3 4 like that, correct. This is a mapping, and generally we use this particular way, okay, that is through get dummies, okay. With the get dummies we do this particular thing, okay. That means we convert it to one hot encoding so that your algorithm can perform in a better way, okay. That means all of them will have a equal preference. It will not be like that, like suppose you are having 10 values, okay. So if you're having 10 categories, okay, and you had given a numbers like this to them, 5 6 7 8 9 10, 10 categories, these 10 numbers you had given, then what will happen? It will be a very tough job, right? When your algorithm will work over it, it will, you know, this will have a higher weight, this will, these will get the higher weights, okay. These are basically having the higher weight, these are having the lower weights, okay. So your algorithm may get biased, okay, may get biased towards them, okay. That's why one hot encoding is preferred, so that algorithm should not be too much biased, right? And this is our final df5, okay. So df5 is the final data frame that we have created for our further proceedings with no null values, nothing, right? Now for algorithm, if I have to choose like which column I have to use, then there are only some column that I can use over here. If I have to predict only survival, then what are those columns? We can just use over here df5 dot columns, okay. So these are our columns we are having, right? Out of these columns I have to use survival and passenger class. So I'll just copy this thing and we'll paste it over here. Name is not important, surname is not important, sex is already in a string format, gender I can use, age I can use, sibling and spouse I can use, parts it can be used or not, parts is what, okay. Parents, okay. So parents can use, ticket is not important, right? Like someone survive or not survive, because all of them are having a tickets, right? So ticket number is not that important, because ticket number is also not repeated, okay. So that's why fare is also not important that much, and this can be used, like where they're trading. So this is also not that important, but it still can be, if I want to use I can use it, if I don't want to use it I can ignore it, correct. So all the columns that are required I have separated it, correct? And then this can be your DF6. Okay. Much better. Okay. So okay. One more thing, whenever you are picking the multiple columns, just base you are using a dual brackets. Okay. If you are using single bracket, it will not work. Okay. So DF6 is what? It is having all those columns that we are going to use, and we had removed all those columns that are not required. And all these columns are what? Are basically our features. Okay, there can be one label survival, that means I have to make the prediction over survival. Okay, I have to make the predictions over what? Survival, that someone will survive or not. And these are all what things that are features and labels I will explain in more detail in the next class. Okay, we'll understand what is feature, what are labels, what are supervised learning, what are unsupervised learning, that we'll discover in next class. Okay, this is a simple thing that I had explained over here. Okay, that means I told you how excuse me. Okay, that means I told you how can we prepare a data. Okay, how can we prepare data if there is a raw data given to us. There are lot many raw data that we are going to use. I will give you some assignments as well, you can also try that part. I will share this particular file with you first. uh,
हेलो विपुल सर, विपुल सर आवाज नहीं आ रहा है। हेलो।
या am I audible now?
हाँ हाँ, यस यस यस।
पता नहीं कैसे म्यूट हो गया था, सॉरी.
ओके 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 ओके।
Okay. I guess I didn't mute it intentionally. I don't know like how it gets muted. Anyway,
ओके
so
ओके
so you can see I have accessed the data. Okay, and what I was explaining the data is not in a format of comma separated values. It is having a tabs. Okay, so you make get the data like this. So you can do what read CSV will remain as it is. Just give the separation like how it is separated. Suppose the data is separated by this thing. Okay, semicolon. Then you have to give separation equal to semicolon. If it is separated by colon, you have to give separation equal to colon. Okay, if it is separated by something else, okay, that you have to give. Here it is separated by tab, so this is what given, correct? So it is a data we are having, right? Now what item price you can see, okay, in the item, okay, we check the data types. When we check the data types, what we got that order ID and quantity are in numerical form, rest all are in non-numerical form. Okay, so suppose I have to do analysis over item price, it is not in a numerical form, so mathematical inputs or mathematical algorithm is not suitable for it, right? So what it is, how it will work, you have to just use item price. Okay, so in the item price, what we are having this dollar symbols. So when you are having this kind of situations, okay, what you can do, you can use something called, there are two functions you should know over here. Let me write those two functions. One is called replace, okay, and second is called contains. These two functions are very important, replace and contains. Okay, replace will be used to replace any particular string value, and contains will verify a string value, correct? So I have to replace dollar, so just use replace. Okay, and dollar symbol needs to be replaced with what, because without removing this dollar symbol, its type can't be converted, we can't convert the type, isn't it? So as I remove the dollar symbol, it is not getting removed, because whenever you are applying a replace is basically a string function, so you have to read the complete data column into a string. Okay, and then you can do it. Okay, so it is replaced, correct? So it is how you can replace any string, any special character, anything which is not required in that data column, correct? Next, you have to convert it. So how can you convert? Look here, to check the type, it is d type, d types. Whenever you have to check the type of a column, it is d types, isn't it? But whenever you have to convert the type of a column, it is as type. Okay, these two things you should always remember. It should be always there in your mind, because it will be used for n number of times for data conversion. If it is d type for checking, as type for converting, so convert it into float, convert it. Now you can do what, you can assign it to the actual data column, dfs. Okay, and it will be what, item price. Okay, much better, right? And then what we can do, we can just check the head. Okay, so now it is converted into a numerical form. Now we can do any kind of processings over it, correct? Earlier it was not in a numerical form, it was having a special character, it was an object. We remove the object, sorry, we remove the special character, and then we convert it into float. Okay, now any kind of numerical things can be done, like for example, I have to calculate the average. So what I can do, dfs item price dot mean, done. Okay, so this is how we can do. Next, I told you about the contents. It will take hardly 2 minutes to tell you about the contents, thereafter I'll over the session. Okay, so in the contents, what we do, we just figure out, we just compare any string value, that string is present or not, right? For example, I have to extract all the data values in which it is like tomato things are present. Okay, I have to extract all the data values where tomato things are present, right? So what we can do, if it is a normal comparison means what, suppose I have to compare all those orders where quantity is 2. I have to filter all those data value where quantity is 2. Then what I can do, I can directly compare this thing with 2. Okay, and then I can pass this value with this thing. Just give me 2 more minutes. Okay. It is filtered. Okay, this is what you are already doing. But what if I want to compare and filter out all the data values where this tomato is present? What I can do? Can I go with this approach? Let's see. DFS item name, right? Item name double equals tomato. Okay. What I'm getting false, false, and false. And if I pass this thing, I'm not getting anything because it is not a tomato only present over there. Okay, there are certain words before tomato and after tomato is there, right? So over here we have to use contains. Replace for replacing, contains for comparing. So DFS item name dot str dot contains. Correct. And then what I can do, I can just pass this thing over here. I guess this thing is not required again. Okay, much better, right? And then you can see true or false. Now if I compare it, sorry, I pass this thing through the data frame, I can get it. Okay, you can see all the things that I am getting over here. That is containing a particular string. Okay, I want for the chips, I can just pass over here chips. Okay, all the things that I'm getting, every line is must having a chips. Okay, so these two things are there. The third thing that you have to do, you have to just figure out where the null values are there, and you have to decide how can you replace that null values. Okay, in this data frame where the null values are there, just figure it out and just decide that how can you replace this particular null value. I have already shared this code with you. Again, I'm sharing this code with you. You can click over the link and can access this code anytime. Okay, I was on mute. I'm really sorry. I was not knowing. Thank you. There is question. I guess there is no question. Okay. From where this table value is collected, such as age. From where this table value is collected, what you want to ask, like the data link. Actually, these are the data someone has created. Okay. This data we had not created. This data. This is created by someone. We are just using that data. Correct. It is a data of some supermarket, and it is a data of some it was a data of a Titanic ship which on which people traveled, and the ship basically met with accident. Okay, so that is it for today. If anything you want to ask, you can ask. I will try to answer your query. There are lot many things actually present in case of data pre-processing. I will try to cover the important parts with you. Okay, in coming sessions actually, right? There are so many things. Okay, so with some case study also I'll try to cover important parts. Okay, and the plotting and visualization I will cover in next session. Okay, with the algorithm I will cover the visualization part in next session. Some of the Kaggle dataset cannot be downloaded. No, it can be downloaded. Any data you can download from Kaggle very easily. There is always this thing you can see over here. There is always a download button. You just need to do what? You just need to log in. Okay, you have to create an account over here. If you are not having account, you can't download. Okay, if you are having account and you will get logged in, you can download from here. Need to become a Kaggler. Yeah, need to become a Kaggler. Okay, that is a good word. Yeah? Okay. So if you are not having any queries, shall we sign off? Or if you want to ask something, please.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Tell me.
Okay. Participant, you would like to ask some questions?
Right,
Okay.
sir. Okay, thank you everyone. Take care. Have a good day. Sir, I'm signing off, right?
And telecommunication. I name Kazi extend. You have explained very nicely about the concept of the data field processing and actually participants were attentive, they have listened carefully, and they have gained lot of knowledge from you. So once again, I extend my thanks to you. Thank you, Bipul sir. Thank you all the participants for patiently listening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thanks
you
a
very
lot,
much.
sir. Take care, sir. Good night.
Okay, all participants, please join tomorrow sharp at 11. 10:20. All participants, please tomorrow at 10:20 a.m. sharp. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, okay, sir.